Hey, Rob from Order 42 here, and today we're going to take a look at Death Note, the anime. Yes, I know. It's not exactly what you're used to from me, but Leon, our good buddy Leon, told us that we should check it out. So that's what we did. So yeah, we're going to talk about it today. If you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe. We've got all kinds of news, reviews, interviews, all kinds of things going on, and March is ramping up to be quite the month for new content. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. The story follows Light Yagami, a teen genius who stumbles across a mysterious otherworldly notebook belonging to the Shinigami Ryuk and grants the user the supernatural ability to kill anyone whose name is written in its pages. Using the alias of a godlike vigilante named Kira, Light goes on a secret crusade to eliminate individuals whom he does not deem worthy, and soon catches the attention of an enigmatic international detective mysteriously only known by the letter L. I must confess, I'm not the largest anime fan in the world. I am a fan of those that I've watched, like Akira, Cowboy Bebop, things like that. I have watched a lot. In fact, it was strange when I was speaking with my friend Leon about this. He was kind of mentioning some titles, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, not a fan. Yeah, I've seen that. I was like, wow, I can't believe I'd actually seen a lot more than I thought. But the truth is, this is a show that the way that the story is told, it's done in a way that's very, very clear and super, super smart. I would say that it's similar to Breaking Bad in a way. You know, you kind of see the decline of someone's morals, and it just seems to get worse and worse and worse. And it's like, how is he going to get out of this? Now, before I gush too much, I figured I'd start with the things that I wasn't a fan of. And I guess the first thing is the gasps. Constant gasps. Like, for example, when someone says, I think he might be Kira, and then you see these reaction shots of the other characters, and it's always stuff like that, and it's annoying. And it seems like it's in a lot of anime too. A lot of anime I've watched has had that. I just don't get it. Like, why is that necessary? I just don't get it. The other thing is, even though I ended up kind of liking the character of Misa, I also found her to be a little abrasive and unnecessarily, anime girl. I don't know how to say this. She's annoying and almost to the point of, like, why is she the only person that's talking like an anime cartoon? Like, everyone else seems to be delivering, performances, right? Real performances. She seems cartoonish and strange and out of place, like in almost every single episode she's in. I just don't find her to be a believable character, and I don't really understand why so much anime has to have characters like this. Like, I just don't get it. And speaking of Misa, one of the weird things about the show, it's extremely, let's be honest, it's a little misogynistic. There's women don't serve a purpose really in this show, and I don't know. It's one of those things that I guess watching it, just trying to keep my mind open to everything, I'm sitting there going, this is really like all guys. This is just the women are just accessories and treated like objects. And I don't know, it's a little uncomfortable. The one character that, well, I won't go into who it was, but there was a character that I had high hopes for. And then they're gone. So it's kind of like okay, dang. Okay, all right. So, that is a bad thing. I will say that around the midway point, there's 37 episodes in this series, right? There's only 37 episodes, 22 minutes each, roughly. Around halfway through, something happens that made me disengage. And it made me disengage so much that I found the second half to be a little more tedious than the first half, okay? I think most people would probably agree that when this certain thing happens around midway through, I mean, I know that it was important to move the story forward, and it gets a little, eh, I don't know how to explain that. And I will also say that the ending, even though, you kind of had to end the show, right? You had to wrap up the story threads and end it. It was a little, disappointing. I will say that I don't think they stuck that landing, the way that I was kind of hoping, because truth be told, I just don't believe that these characters would do the things that happen, especially after all that we'd seen up to that point. I think you know what I'm saying. I think, for those of you who have seen Death Note, you know exactly what I'm saying. For those of you who haven't, you're kind of like, okay. But I think my point still stands. Now, I say all of that, but I'm also telling you that Death Note is absolutely one of the best series I've ever watched when it comes to anime. Bar none, no question. I really, really enjoyed this show. The first episode, I'm kind of like, okay, there's a lot of things going on here, a lot of rules being thrown around, but I was immediately engaged. And one of the things that I really appreciate about a show like this, where there's kind of, a cat and mouse kind of thing happening, right? With the bad guy and a detective and all that kind of stuff. I have to say, I really appreciated that, especially when there's like, okay, they're going to see right through that. And then it shows the other side and they go, yeah, I don't believe that. And it's like, oh, they're not seeing through it. Okay, cool. And it's like, it's really very, very smartly written. And again, I don't want to bash anymore on the actress that plays Misa, but everyone else, the voice acting is just top notch. I really liked all of the actors, including the Shinigami, Ryuk and Rem. I really, really liked their characters a lot, and it was interesting to see that I guess that the play. I don't want to go into spoilers, but the way that they interact with the world is really, really interesting, and I love how all of that plays out. It's just really fun. I will admit that a lot of times when I'm watching a movie or a show or whatever, right? In a way, I kind of turn my brain off because I feel like I shouldn't think ahead. And typically when I'm thinking ahead, it's because the show or the movie is not doing its job in keeping me engaged, right? I have to be engaged. And then when the surprises happen, I'm like, oh, what a surprise. This one was so intelligently written that it almost made me think ahead and try to see how they were going to get out of it or how they were going to catch him. All of those things were in play. And with all of that, there were continually surprises right around the corner. It's like almost every episode, there was a surprise. There was like oh, I didn't see that coming. Oh, wow. That was cool. It's just, it was expertly done. It seems to be one of those Rosetta Stone type shows. Like, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but like a certain genre sometimes, it may go, I'm not a big fan of those kinds of movies or that kind of show or whatever. And sometimes it only takes that one really good one to get you interested in the other stuff. It's kind of opened my mind a little bit to thinking, maybe I should be checking out more anime because that was really, really, really good. Overall, I would give this show a 3.25 out of 4 stars. I was thinking about giving it a higher score, but I can't deny that last half wasn't quite as good, and I was a little bummed out about the ending, and I was a little bummed out that Misa was in it so much. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed it. So, yeah, what a great show. So, Death Note. Are you a fan of this show? Is it something that you've been a fan of for years and you're like, Rob, where have you been? Or, if you're like me and kind of like, yeah, anime, not a fan. I highly recommend it, by the way. Let me know down below what you think about it. I'm really curious what especially after all these years, if people are still a big fan. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.